Hello everyone, I am Rida Fatima from Indian Institute of Communication. For this edition of the fourth estate, we are delighted to speak to Dr. Marina Koland, Principal of NGSM Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences at Nitty University, a distinguished researcher in pharmaceutical technology and drug delivery. She is known for her work on glucoadhesive films, lipid nanoparticles, and sustainable biomaterials. We are delighted to have you, ma'am. Let's get to know her more in this session. Okay, ma'am. So could you walk us through your academic and professional journey? What key decision led to your pharmaceutical sciences?
I had completed my MPharm in Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences. That was in 1994. At that time, my interest was to join the pharma industry. However, later, because I was married in Mangalore, I decided to join NGSM Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences as an assistant professor. So once I joined here, over maybe the next couple of years, I felt I made the right decision. So I did not really, regret, not going into the industry anymore. So that's how it started. And through the years, I took a liking to teaching, and then of course research came along. I started guiding postgraduate students, and a few years later, it maybe I think about 15 years later, after I completed my PhD, I started guiding PhD students. So that's what has been happening, and so here I am. Of course, through the years, I was promoted a few times. I became vice principal in the last year, and finally, I'm now the principal of the institution.
So it must have been a long journey for you.
Yeah, it's a long journey of about 31 years to be precise.
Okay, then the next question. With over 70 publications and several patents, how do you decide whether an idea should be a patent or a research or maybe even a textbook?
See, it all depends on the novelty of the work. So obviously, when your work is, it is in an area which has not yet been published, you will obviously look for publishing it in a good journal with the, which is either in Q1 or Q2, and which has also a good impact factor. So that is most important, that it should be, the research should be something that is novel. Later, I might look into whether the idea can be patented. So there are some of my work, that is research work done through my students. I have applied for patents. In fact, 3 of the research work that has been completed has been converted to patents. We have published 3 patents, and 1 was granted. So in all these cases, the ideas were novel. The work has not been published by anyone else, and that's what made it important.
Okay, so you've presented at national and international conferences.
Yes.
And received many awards. Which recognition or event has had a great impact in your life, or like which you still remember it?
Yes. So I think in 2011, I had attended the AAP's conference that was based in the US in Washington DC. So when I visited, Washington DC, and at the conference, I interacted with the people both from industry side as well as academics from all over the world. And the interaction led to exchange of ideas, and I felt that we could do a lot better in terms of research. From the kind of research that I saw, based on the posters and the papers that were presented, I felt that we could do a lot better in our research. So that kind of, I would say, that kind of inspired me to do better, to give better research projects to my postgraduate students. Yes, that was a very helping event, that kind of changed everything.
So some moments last longer, so you think of it.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
yes. Okay, so your next question is your doctoral work focused on mucoadhesive films and drug delivery. Why was this research significant and what promise does it hold for the patients?
Okay, so mucoadhesive drug delivery actually can be applied to any system that is meant to be administered into body cavities. So it can be the oral cavity or it can be in the nasal cavity and so on. So in this instance, I had designed a formulation for oral mucosal application which has got mucoadhesive properties. That is, the formulation adheres to the mucosa of the mouth, and it is made from polymers. We call them mucoadhesive polymers, which are capable of having an adhesive interaction when the formulation, we call it the formulation. In my case, we had prepared films. So when the films became wetted with saliva, they became adhesive. So they tend to adhere to the mucosa so that it remains for a long time and does not get dislodged, say when you're speaking or when you're eating. So during that time, the drug is released from the film, it dissolves with the saliva, and then it is absorbed to the mucosa of the oral cavity, and then it's absorbed in the blood, where it ultimately produces its effect. So that is how these systems work. So we call them mucoadhesive drug delivery systems.
For sure, it will help the patients.
Yes, definitely, yes.
So your next question, what inspired you to explore this chicken feather keratin as a biomaterial, and what recent development in this area excites you the most?
So we were actually looking at materials and polymers that would be helpful in wound healing. So we were exploring various kinds of materials, and we came across this use of chicken feathers, where they extracted the chicken feathers for keratin. And we found a couple of publications where keratin was used for wound healing, but the keratin that was used was from hair, for instance, human hair, or from the hair of animals, or from the horn of animals. But nobody had tried with the chicken feathers, because though there were processes for extraction of keratin from chicken feathers, but applications in wound healing was not explored much. So we found that there is some promise in the keratin that was extracted from chicken feather. It has the ability to bring about epithelialization, that is, increase in the output of the epithelial cells and migration of cells over the wound that is produced, so that healing occurs faster. So we have prepared, films in which we have incorporated keratin along with other polymers, as well as we have used, local anesthetics. For example, lignocaine hydrochloride, so that there is a numbing sensation, because mouth ulcers can be very painful. So we need something to numb the pain, and of course the chicken feather keratin would bring about the healing of the ulcer, so that the ulcers would heal faster than if you use, say, for example, we have something known as commercial lignocaine gel. That gel does not work as effectively because it does not have staying power on your ulcers. So sometimes they get washed off, they get, when you speak or eat or drink. Whereas a film will remain for a longer time. So that helped, because the staying power of the film, it brought about the healing much faster. So we compared with, we have done this in animals, in rats basically, where we have induced the ulcers, and then we compared the ability of the films to heal with those films which are prepared from polymers but without keratin, without chicken feather keratin. So that was, something novel that was not done before, and we had applied for a patent, and it was published as well.
I'm sure while doing this, you would have faced some obstacles and all. How did you overcome them?
There were a few obstacles. One was when the keratin was extracted, it had a tendency to absorb moisture. So so when it absorbed moisture, it kind of became, moist, and that could lead to instability. So what we did is we subjected to freeze drying. We got a good product, but we also made sure that we refrigerated and so that it would retain its integrity. So that was one problem we more or less tried to overcome. And another problem was the use of a particular ingredient in extracting the keratin, that is mercaptoethanol. So this ingredient is actually used to bring about the curing, or you can say the interlocking of the keratin protein chains, so that the protein becomes more insoluble. But mercaptoethanol has some toxicity, so probably it would not be a safe ingredient to use. So we changed the process of extraction, in fact. So we use another process where we didn't have to use mercaptoethanol, and that gave us a better and safer product.
Beyond research, what keeps you motivated? Do you have like a role model or some specific philosophies that you follow in your life, as in like that?
I believe that whatever you do, you should do it well. That is the philosophy I go by. I mean, it shouldn't be something like a half-hearted effort or you do partially. It should be done thoroughly and completely. That is what that's my philosophy, and you should do your best, give your best in your efforts, whatever it may be. You should give try and give 100%. Sometimes it may not be possible. But at least you should try. That's the philosophy I go by. Yeah,
I'm sure that will be helpful.
Yes.
Speaking with Dr. Marina Koland reminds us how innovation and persistence can turn ideas into impactful solution. Her journey is a source of inspiration for students and researchers alike, showing how curiosity and dedication can shape the future of science. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking time for our session and all.
Thank you.
And thank you all for tuning in until the end of the session. Thank you.